everyone, we are back, and today we are with Shanna Young. Shanna, thanks for taking the time.
Hey, thanks for doing this.
No problem. First off, how are you, and how are you feeling? We're about a month away from your fight.
I'm feeling great. I took a little bit of time off after my last fight, went back home to Tennessee, and sat around on my butt for a long time. Didn't do anything for about 2 months, and I just came back, and I am in the process of getting in shape.
Awesome to hear. It seems like only yesterday you left the UFC, and now you're in the PFL. Can you kind of talk about that transition and how did it come by so quickly?
Ever since I moved out to Vegas, I've just really tried to be super active and, to stay in there, stay in shape, stay ready for whatever's next. So, last fight was early November, and, I knew I wanted to go home and take a little bit of time in between. And as soon as, I got the news that I was being removed from the UFC, we started working on, what was next. My manager sent me a couple of things, and the PFL was one of the things that came up. So I'm excited to get in there.
Excellent to hear. And obviously this fight's going to be at flyweight. You've had experience fighting at bantamweight and flyweight, but is flyweight somewhere you kind of feel the most comfortable at?
I love the flyweight division. I had some of my early stuff in like early pro stuff. I was bantamweight. Early OC stuff was bantamweight, just because that was what popped up, and there was an opportunity there. But I really feel like the flyweight division is my division, especially as I'm getting older. It's a little bit easier for me to handle the other girls at that weight. I have kind of a bad hip, so it's good for me both walking around carrying a little less weight, as well as like being in there wrestling against some of these girls who are a little bit bigger than me. So, not to mention those girls at 135, the man weights, they hit kind of hard, and I think I do better, and I'm just really ready to excel in the 25 division.
That's awesome. As we approach the Challenger Series here, when you signed the deal to get into this Challenger Series, were you pretty excited to get into the PFL, considering all the leaps they made in the last couple of years?
Oh, super excited. PFL is definitely growing. A lot of teammates, fight for them, and just heard nothing but excellent things. I've been to a couple fights, and so I really love what they've got going on, and I'm super excited to kind of join the games.
And I mean, obviously you're fighting for a PFL contract. Is there any pressure going into this fight, or are you just focused on the fight itself?
Definitely, and there's always pressure. It's getting in there and fighting against another human being is always a lot of pressure. But I think this could have happened at a better time. Moving into, I typically don't join the whole like new year, new me thing, but I think just with everything that's happened recently and going into the new year, I'm really just kind of looking at fighting from a different angle now. I want to get back to my roots, and why you start doing this as you progress, and you turn pro, and you've been fighting for a really long time. It turns into labor. It becomes just really really stressful, and we all start because we love the game. And I think like your true fighters just really love to get in there and to fight. So I'm just excited to get back in there, get back to my roots, and just, fight because I love to fight, man.
Well, and I think like every fighter over time, you have to always progress. You always have to change up your game because the game continues to change every day, unfortunately.
For sure. Yeah, it changes every day. Heck, I pride myself on being pretty progressive and varying. I think all my fights tend to be kind of different, but I mean, the mental side of things, you kind of have to change that up and to look at things from a different angle sometimes too.
For sure. Sorry, I think we lagged there for a moment. I was about to ask you a question. Moving on. You possess like a 63% finish rate. Is that what shows what kind of fighter you are? And does that show the danger that you possess when someone steps in the cage with you?
Uh, like I said, I vary a lot. I kind of pride myself on, being able to change up the game. Sometimes, like I've had a lot of fights go to decision. I've had a lot of fights getting finished. I've had fights finished in all kinds of different ways. So, I just kind of pride myself in being super unpredictable. I go in there, and one time I'm like a hardcore stand-up fighter, just want to stand. We're not going to do the takedowns. We're not wrestling. And the next time I'm diving on leg locks. So I just like to do whatever, see what's there. You respond to your opponent, and just every fight's different.
Absolutely. And now looking at your opponent, Sandra Lovato, is there something that she brings to this fight that gets you really excited, or is this just another fight to you?
Yeah, I'm not. So I actually was home for a really long time and got a little bit delayed on coming back out here. So I've not actually even had the real opportunity to sit down and do my whole game planning and analysis of my opponent and all of that stuff. But she's got a really good record. She's pretty experienced in the sport, so I am excited to just get in there and see how it goes.
You're obviously coming for the win, and I know you're still focusing on this particular fight, but looking towards the horizon, how would that $1 million sound, and how would that change your life?
Oh, that would definitely change my life. The million sounds awesome. Definitely, I think that's everyone's end goal is win the whole thing. But for now, just taking it step by step. Looking at it. First fights first. Let's take it a step at a time and face the thing that's right in front of us. So, Sandra Lovato.
For sure. And you're not just a fighter, but you're a mother as well. Now, will your kids be attending the fight, or are you not? Do you know that?
Oh, they'll probably be there. My family, before all of the COVID and all of the craziness, they would always travel to every single fight. My family actually has a timeshare in Orlando, so I have no doubt that probably every single one of them will be there in attendance. And my youngest hasn't had the opportunity to be able to fight yet, but my oldest always did. He was 3 years old, and his favorite thing used to be to walk up to random strangers and tell them, my mommy is in Tennessee in a cage. And he meant that I was fighting, but a lot of times people thought I was in jail. But no, he's been at a lot of my fights. He loves to just come and hang out, and I even have pictures of him flirting with the ring girls.
Now, is your oldest, is that something that he wants to follow in his mother's footsteps, or he doesn't want anything to do with fighting?
So, of course, we all want our kids to follow in our footsteps. And so we try to get them involved in some of the same things. But my oldest is actually not really into the contact sports as much as I have tried. So I think he'll probably end up being a musician or a pilot. Those seems to be the things that he's interested in. But currently no interest in MMA, unfortunately.
Well, and you've kind of talked about your family having a timeshare in Orlando. So talk about where do you find the balance between your family life and training?
It's tough, especially after this move. I was fighting out of Tennessee, and my family is in Virginia, where I grew up. And now that I am in Las Vegas, I'm a lot farther away. It's a lot harder to just jump in the car and go see them for the weekend. So it's been really tough. I took a couple of months off in between my last fight to go home and visit with them. And it's I say it's like I have two different lives. It's like when I'm here, I'm like single fighter Shanna, and it's just me, and I'm all alone, and all I do is train and go to the gym and do fighter stuff. But then I go home and I'm surrounded by family all the time. I'm my 2-year-old soul keeper, and I'm just like tied down, and I'm like this little house mother hen thing. It's really just night and day, the difference in the two different lives that I live in Tennessee versus Las Vegas.
Of course, no doubt. Now we don't have a whole lot of time, but I just want to end off. So I want to know, where is the story behind your nickname?
So I was actually training with my first team back when I was an amateur, and people started saying, you're such an animal, you're a beast, you're an animal. And then one of my teammates, shout out Jay Page, started calling me the Shanimal, and that just kind of stuck. And I've kind of gone with it ever since. I did think a couple of months back when I first came out to Vegas that I might be changing my nickname, because I am, of course, this little country bumpkin that grew up in the middle of nowhere, Virginia, and coming out to Las Vegas and meeting all these different people, they started calling me Backwoods. So I thought that we were going to change my name to Backwoods there for a minute, but for now we'll stick with Shanimal.
Sweet. Well, again, we only got about 15 minutes here, so I just want to thank you for taking your time. And for everyone that doesn't know, still, Shannon Young will be taking on Sandra Lovato on February 24th in the, I was going to say Contender Series, but the
Challenger Series.
The Challenger Series. I wanted to say Contender Series. Sorry, Challenger Series.
Close enough.
So good luck, and thank you again for your time.
Of course, thank you.